Hey, I'm Bubba, and today I am going to be breaking down the full trailer for the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that we got just the other day at E3, as well as adding my own theories along the way. So there's a lot to unpack here, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The trailer opens with a very dark theme, showing what we know as Malice creeping onto the screen from the corner. But notice that this Malice is much different than what we saw in the other reveal trailer, where it was a lot more rounded and creepy crawly. Now, it's very possible that Nintendo has changed some things since we last heard from them about this game, but it's also likely that this could be something completely different. The scene then cuts to three characters separately, those characters being Link first, then presumably Ganondorf, and lastly Zelda rocking that new haircut. But in just these few seconds, we get more about the actual story than almost the rest of the trailer combined. When we see Link here, the Malice is consuming the same arm that was being merged with that arm-shaped seal, I'll just call it the arm thingy for the rest of this, from the last trailer. This could mean that the mysterious arm joined Link to protect him, or it could just be taking place sometime later. Next, we see a Ganondorf in desperate need of some calcium, throwing his arms back in all of their revived glory. Now, this confirms that Ganondorf has been revived and will be the main antagonist throughout the story. We see Zelda fall into a red glowing pit. It looks to me as if these few shots take place directly after Ganondorf awakens, as Link and Zelda are making their escape. This would explain why Link got out and Zelda didn't, once again making her the damsel in distress that needs saving. The mood is then instantly transformed as a flash of light brings us to the world of what, at first, looks to be, you guessed it, Skyward Sword. With the floating islands and Link soaring through the air, we can't help but think about the skies of Hyrule that were once playable. Well, now they are again. In this sequel to Breath of the Wild, we will be able to play once again on both the ground and in the sky. Most of these islands are seemingly new, with fresh landscapes and structures to be explored, although some bear a resemblance to what we've seen before. It could be a mixture of both, though. I mean, after all, later we see Hyrule Castle itself rise into the air with them, so it's not too far-fetched to assume that some of the ground might be ripped up and just start flying. Looking back at Link, we see him sporting some new clothing styles of questionable choice. We see here that the arm thingy has merged with his arm, and that it also gave him some sick tattoos on his back. And once again, I can't help but think about the Akala region or central Hyrule when I see these paved roads and castle-like structures, but moving on. We see Link once again with a paraglider here, heading towards what looks like a massive temple in the background. You'll have to bear with me and cut me some slack if I'm dead wrong. I've never played Skyward Sword. Yeah, I know, shame on me. Speaking of Skyward Sword though, this symbol looks exactly like the Gust Bellows item. Plus, the structure that it's on is blowing wind from the top, and for some reason giving power to this creature. It looks similar to the wispy green spells that were being emitted by the arm thingy down in that dungeon. Here we see bokoblins with horns, and they're mobile now? They must have finally noticed Link on his motorcycle and, decided to hop on that trend. Although, I'm not sure a stone talus would be the best mode of transportation. Here is Link lying on the ground, just taking a little nap, possessing the power of that arm thingy, and here we have what I think is going to play a huge role in the game, and not just in the mechanics. I'm talking about time. First off, this is confirmation that Link's new and improved arm will be taking the place of the Sheikah Slate, since, that's been missing the entire time. But what exactly is it doing? What at first looks like stasis, then takes things into its own hands with a JoJo-like time freeze, and starts moving that spike ball backwards in time. This is where things get even more interesting. There are other power-ups and tools to be used outside of the arm. Notice how this dragon head-shaped thing is on Link's opposite arm? Now, here's where time comes into play again. We see a water droplet go backwards in time, but now it's not with the help of Link's stasis-like ability. It just undoes itself like it was never there. And lastly on this topic, what else do we see throughout both trailers that alludes to the theme of time? Well, the actual question should be, what do we hear? Because in both trailers, we are stuck listening to numerous iconic soundtracks played backwards, stuck in a loop. You see where I'm going with this? The revival of Ganondorf, the return of the Sky Realm, time-reversing tools, and music played backwards. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I'm onto something. Also, another way Link can use his new powers is to apparently go through solid rock. I'm not even going to go into that one. This shot looks to be somewhere above Hyrule Ridge, more specifically the Thundra Plateau. You know, that place with all the funky looking mushroom trees. The last couple shots show Hyrule Castle rising into the air while oozing this flame-like malice that is even more different than what we saw before. And it ends on a very calm shot from much further away as it fades to black, and we get our final piece of information. The release year. Coming 2022. What do you think? This was a bit of a different video for me, but if it goes well, you can expect more from me in the future. Make sure to drop a sub and like on the video if you enjoyed. That'll be it for me. I'll see you guys later.